Evening, ladies and gentlemen of Power. How are all of you doing on this fine Thursday evening? It's July 13th. I hope your summer is going phenomenal. I hope you are resting, relaxing, enjoying the sun, and accomplishing all of your goals and your dreams and your business aspirations and your solar aspirations and all of that amazing stuff. You know, tonight's training event came about because, there tends to be a way for things to kind of catch up to you, and there's been enough changes taking place lately, and so many things happening that it felt right to take a moment and just do a deeper sort of catch up, right? A presenting to all of the different things that are happening at Power. So welcome to tonight's training. I'm excited you guys are here. There's some really cool stuff we're going to show you. Some of this stuff, I really wanted to show you guys because a lot of you, obviously, everybody's involved in the business. Many of you are investors in the business. And I think it's important for everybody to understand the software platform that's functioning on the other side that you don't even see. That is really how we are managing an unprecedented network of international solar providers, and how did we really make it scalable? How did we kind of figure out how to do this when there really wasn't a path that ever existed before to do this? And the team has been working for 4 months straight, about 4 months straight. They literally started working on it right after we kind of implemented Power 2.0 and all of the major components of Power 2.0. So probably from about March, early March, this has been one of the biggest projects, and it's really set us up moving forward to do some epic things. And we're going to be able to start seeing some of that innovation come through shortly, and some of the features that are pegged for the next 60 days. But without further ado, welcome everybody. Tonight's going to be jam-packed. Of course, I've got some training nuggets for you. Of course, I've got some amazing announcements. Of course, there's some awesome events coming up that everyone should be aware of, all with the intention of how do you continue to drive your business forward, to level up your game, to create the results that you want to create inside the movement to a clean energy future. So let's look at the agenda tonight. First things in store is a preview of Power's latest platform release for solar providers. So we're going to start right off with a preview of Power's latest platform release for solar providers. Then we are going to discuss the introduction of Invoice At, which is a new timestamp, which means nothing to you guys, but it means a lot to you guys, but the terminology means nothing to you. But it's a new sort of infrastructure change that we're making across how we measure commissionable events, which you need to know about. So we're going to talk about that. Third, we're going to talk about lead events. I realized recently that a lot of people in Power, there's secret little features that you might not even be aware of and you might not be utilizing to its fullest extent. So we're going to talk about mastering lead events and how you can use that to close more deals. We've got some new markets that we're going to be announcing tonight. So I hope everybody's taking bets on where we're going next. If you know, because you got a sneak peek or somebody snuck something to you, then you're not allowed. But everybody else, now's the time to be placing bets, and maybe Dan Haar is organizing all that. Then we're gonna announce PowerEvents.com, a new website that we're rolling out, and a tour leading up to the upcoming Orlando regional event. So we have a jam-packed evening in store. Let's jump right in. So the Power Provider Portal demo. I'm going to exit the presentation right now, guys, and I'm going to take you over to a screen share. Vanessa, if anything goes wrong throughout this process, you are my eyes and ears, so please just tell me if that's the case. So, okay. So what everyone is looking at is essentially the same way that you all function on Powur.com right now. And you have a fully automated, customer relationship management tool, marketing system, commission tracking and reporting. Powur.com, right? It's our platform. It's how we connect homeowners who are prime candidates for savings to 50 plus installers across 29 states and now two other countries. What you're about to see is what's happening on the back end. And we've literally built a platform for solar providers that is virtually, pretty robust, similar to the platform that we've built for Powur advisors. And how this really came about, just to share sort of how we found ourselves here with you guys. Back in September of 2016, we started thinking, okay, we see the writing on the wall. We need a different business model that allows us to partner with all of the best solar companies all over the world to make more money, to expand faster, to do all these things. But at the time, really we had the only way we could think to make all this work from a data integration standpoint was an API integration. So we went out there and we built a robust API integration with, at the time, the largest residential solar company in the world. And, that worked really well. But you can't do an API integration with, a 10-person solar company in Pittsburgh, or Pennsylvania. That wasn't going to happen. So we started thinking outside the box for, well, how could we actually integrate with all of these different providers and retain our data integrity? And so then we started thinking, well, wait a minute, what is it that all of these providers use? What is it that we would actually be doing an API integration with, right? Because, you do an API integration with a CRM, Salesforce or Zoho, or, there's a handful of big ones out there. So then we were like, oh, what if we just built the CRM? Then we don't even need to API integrate with everyone's CRMs because we build the CRM that they're all going to use. And it was like a light bulb moment, aha, went off. So essentially, that's what you guys are looking at. As of this week, we have transitioned, we have successfully transitioned all 50 plus installers that are currently on our platform and using our platform over to the brand new Powur provider portal. You guys will probably never see this outside the screen right now, unless you're a provider, but I want you to know about it. And I hope you think it's as cool as we think it's cool, because truly this is going to give us the ability to scale internationally all over the world in a way no company ever has, with unprecedented communication and efficiency and effectiveness between all of the sales consultants and providers who ever work a Powur lead, and all of the advisors and advocates who ever introduce a Powur lead. And you're literally seeing the foundation for what I believe is going to become the most dominant software platform connecting homeowners to installers around the world, the Uber of solar sales, if you will. So I'm going to walk you guys through the whole thing. So companies now are onboarded automatically onto a provider portal. So for instance, you see up here, it's provider test. This is just a testing account that we use in production and staging to, of course, do all of our testing. But every single provider has their own account. So you might see, bakerelectric.powur.com. gosolar.powur.com, sunpower, .powur.com, whatever it might be. So companies come in here, they fill out all their profile information. They're constantly able to monitor their zip codes. They can add states. They do not fix their appointments or anything like that. The admin still controls all of their commissions and everything, but they can come in here, they can add states, they can add zip codes. So there's total customizability that providers have to customize the service territories that zip codes will show up and that they service. They can upload logos. We actually just introduced a new feature where there's now a profile PDF that every single provider can upload. So specific information about their company. When you go to send a lead to them for the first time, I think this is coming out this week. If they want to have a special training document or something about solar in their region or whatever it might be, there's now custom documents that every provider can upload about who they are and about training in their area and how to work best with them and all these things. And then of course all the information of their website, the live transfer number, the website address, their company hours, their Yelp ratings, certifications, business installations, their warranties, their differentiating statements. all managed to their profile and all automated. Where this is going next is a full force CRM for their entire teams. So providers can now come in here and they can add users to their own accounts. So there's an owner of the account, right, who's essentially the company owner. Then there's lead managers. There's people who have access to manage lead managers. There's sales consultants. So they're now going to be able to add the sales consultants to the platform who are actually working your leads. They're going to be able to assign leads from Powur to the different sales consultants that are working your leads. Now, what that's paving the way for is a totally asynchronous communication between you and the sales consultant that's working your lead, all on the Powur platform, no matter where they are, what state, what provider, what this, what that. The notes functionality inside the Powur back office is about to be intimately linked to the notes functionality that will make it and be a communication tool with the sales consultants who are actually working your leads. That's something that is not rolling out in V1, but it is actively underway. And it's part of the sort of foundation that we've now built, guys, is that we can start doing epic stuff. That's just the beginning. Wait till you see what's coming next with appointment setting. We're getting ready to do appointment and calendar integrations and all sorts of other things that we're focused on how do we massively increase appointment conversion ratios and all of these things. And the type of connection that we now have because providers are literally using our platform. We are the platform. We are the CRM. When they come in here and they make a note or an update or this or that, it's all us. We don't need to integrate with anybody. We don't need to get information from them. It's all happening in real time on our platform, which is just phenomenally freaking cool. And what that means about what we're going to be able to do in the future, you're just seeing the beginning of the beginning of what's going to be possible as we really scale this model. There's just it's infinite, it's limitless, the possibilities that we just opened up, including, you know, really our product becoming almost like software as a service. So up until now, you know, we've been billing and invoicing providers much more traditionally. All of that is now being automated. Even inside the platform, providers will have everything, all of their invoices will be entirely automated. When they mark a lead, when it goes to appointment, when it goes to install, when it signs a contract, it'll just be billed. They're able to automatically sync an ACH account or a credit card or whatever it is to the platform. So we are just totally maximizing the efficiency of all of our teams. You have no idea how crazy it has been on Andrea Budd and the accounting team over the last 6 months, managing, you know, the thousands and thousands of leads and installs and kilowatt hours and sizes of the system, and everything is now 100% essentially transitioned over the provider portal, and the process of automation has begun. So when we submit a lead to a provider, for example, if you submitted to provider test, you know, if this was a real provider, the provider would see, hey, a new lead has just shown up. So they get notified, they log in. They all probably will have this portal open all day long anyway because they're working in and out of here. And they see this brand new lead that just showed up. So the first thing they click is qualify. And that'll open up the lead over here. And they will actually, you know, note, okay, was this a qualified lead or not, right? So they can pick, hey, you know, it was qualified on the 13th at, you know, 9:45 a.m. or p.m. or whatever it is. They can do whatever additional notes they want, and then afterwards, you know, they can mark qualify, and it will have just moved that lead to the second stage. And then when it's time to set an appointment, maybe they set an appointment right then and there, you're going to see all of the appointment dates start being booked in advance, because now every time, essentially when a provider has an appointment for a customer, they come in advance, they set when that appointment date is going to be. It's going to be at, you know, 12, it's going to be at, you know, 6 o'clock, you know, at 6:30 p.m., and they, you know, leave some more notes, and then they set the appointment, right? So essentially what's going to happen now is you'll see that that appointment is scheduled. There's a new change that's actually come to your lead event section, where instead of seeing appointments in the future, you're going to see an appointment is scheduled for the future. So you're able to see right in your lead events all the different appointments that are scheduled for the future, and when they are scheduled for. Of course, when the date actually comes that the appointment happened, it transitions over from being scheduled to another thing, which I'm going to talk about in a second, because that's where the invoice at date comes in. You guys all following me? Hopefully I'm not talking too fast or whatever. But, you know, a lot of this is mostly for your understanding of how the back end is working. You know, it's not critical to the two things that really make you money, which is how many homeowners did you talk to today about zero down solar that you submitted to a provider, and how many human beings did you put our video in front of to see if they have a pulse and they want to change the future of the world and make a bunch of money to do it. That's how you guys make money. Trust me, this stuff, worrying about this stuff is not how you make money. This is our job to worry about, because we need to make sure that you have an amazing business model, an amazing platform. But the two things that make you money are talking to homeowners and talking to human beings with a pulse. And with that said, I want you to understand how our business is all functioning here in the back end. So when they have a contract, what's cool now is providers are actually uploading the contract, so we can verify all of the details of the contract. We'll know the exact, you know, volume, the size amounts, whatever it is. So a provider will come over here, they'll upload a contract. I'll just do an example here. Give me a second. You know, maybe I'll go with one of these deals. All right, so let's say this was the contract I was uploading. And then once the contract is uploaded, I can leave more notes. And it's now uploaded. And I can click submit. And then on the date that it's installed, you can set the time and date that the system is to be installed. Once the package has come back from permitting, and they actually have, okay, this is the install date for this customer, July 31st, you know, we're going to come out at 8 a.m. Here's the system kilowatt size. If they sold any additional products that are commissionable, they'd enter that here too, any additional notes. Let's say it's a 10 kW. And boom, right? So that's it, my friends. That's a quick tour of how the provider portal is now working. I really just wanted to show you a foundation for what the team has been relentlessly working on. I really, you would not believe how much work goes into making all of this a very effective, functional, you know, highly executing software platform and business. It's not easy. Most people are not able to do it. We're very lucky that we have an extraordinarily talented technology team where it's like literally anything that we throw over the fence to them, hey guys, we need to figure out how to do this, and by the way, it's never been done before, what are your ideas, go. You know, somehow they just, everything we throw over the fence, they're miracle workers, and they come up with better solutions and ideas than almost anything that's out there. So this is the foundation. Where we go next, I hope you guys are excited for. Before I switch back over to the presentation, I'm just going to come over here and get a pulse. What do you guys think? Are you excited about some of the future innovation that's coming down the pipeline? Mr. Contreras, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Oh, all of you amazing people. I love you very much. Boom. I will pass on the sentiments too. If you guys ever think this stuff is cool, trust me, the team that works tirelessly every day, it really matters to them, and you guys are the reason why everybody is working tirelessly every day. So as long as you're happy, we're happy. So as soon as there's some more cool announcements, you guys will be the first to know, and I'm going to pop back over to the presentation here, and we're going to keep going. So the new invoice at timestamp, what does this mean? So we started learning a whole lot of things when we rolled out Powur 2.0. And one of those things that we learned is that, you know, events are subject to change. And, you know, somebody books an appointment, but then an appointment doesn't happen, or an appointment changes, but the provider forgot to come back to the platform and change the appointment changed. And there's just a whole lot of things that happen with events. So we kind of needed to come up with a more uniform way of measuring things. There was a lot of cases, guys, where an appointment was said to take place, and then they came back and said this appointment didn't take place, and we just paid that money to you anyway, right? We did not claw it back. But, at the same time, that's not a great business model for us because we don't want to, we never got paid for that appointment. So, you don't want to do that 1,000 times, when the company gets really big. So we needed to come up with solutions. So we came up with a new timestamp, and it's called invoice at. And essentially, when something is marked invoiced at, that means it is a 100% billable and a 100% commissionable event. So really this comes down to every event where we pay commissions or we bill a provider. You might hear some updates about that soon. But for today, it means pretty much appointment and install, right? Because we bill providers for appointments and installs, we pay for appointments and installs. So the way it works right now is after an event occurs that's commissionable, appointment and install, a provider has 4 days to change or alter that event in any way, shape, or form. If something happened where the event didn't take place, or the customer, didn't show up, or, the sales consultant's mother got sick and he had to run to the hospital, or whatever the heck the reason is, if the event did not actually occur, then providers have 4 days, or even if the event did occur, there's a grand total of 4 days that providers have to make a change to any event on the platform. It's no longer functioning on weekly basis and things like that. It's just, when did the event happen? And you have 4 days after the event to make any change. After 4 days, that event is considered invoiced, which means that we are charging the provider no matter what. Even if they come back to us 2 weeks later and say, hey, what the heck, this event didn't occur, our new policy is we don't care. If you did not change it in 4 days, it's billable, and we're paying commissions on it the second that it is invoiced at. So here's what this means. Here's where the practicality is for all of us. So if an appointment takes place on July 13th, that will be the event date of the appointment. But the invoice at date will be July 17th, and that's the actual date that it becomes commissionable. So an appointment is not commissionable on July 13th just because it occurred. It is commissionable on July 17th, which is a hard sort of line in the sand. That's the date it's being invoiced. Does that make sense? Do I need to explain that anymore, or is that pretty clear to everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Perfect sense, perfect sense. Okay, great. So make sure you pass this information along to your teams, because what that means is I don't want somebody to come back to us and say, hey, what the heck, it's Friday and the appointment happened today, why wasn't it in my Friday pay run, and things like that. Yes, the appointment happened today, and it is a commissionable event 4 days from now once it becomes invoice at, and the provider has no longer has the ability to change everything. So just in total clarity, that is how it works, and this will absolutely be a much better model for everybody. That way there's no clawbacks and there's no anything that happens, if a provider comes back and says, hey, we're taking this back because it didn't happen. We've essentially eradicated that problem with invoice at. So moving on. Let Mr. Bud get a drink of water here. So using lead events to grow your business. So first off, I'm going to do a little tour of what lead events actually is, and just kind of give everybody a little bit more insight into their solar grid and how to really use this tool for everything that it's worth. And then I'm going to share some tips. I'm just going to share some tricks that I have learned, some principles. They're principles around how you become an amazingly effective solarpreneur. What can you do to be the best possible solarpreneur and get the most deals over the finish line? So that's my intention for this section. So moving over here to the solar grid, I'm in the sort of test account for the operations team here. At the top of everyone's solar grid, you can see leads, which are leads that you've submitted, and you can also see, if you click here on personal all phases, you can click here and include team data, and then you can see, all the leads that the team has submitted, right? So leads is its own sort of animal. This is where you're looking up individual names. You can pull up different people. You can look at the sources of leads, marketing, PowerPress, all, invite, dates, everything. Leads is not where I want to spend the bulk of the time today. Events is a much more impactful. This is where I come to manage my data and keep track of everybody and find people and follow up with people and things like that. This is where I come for the pulse of my business, to see what's really going on in my business, and what can I do to continue to move my business forward, is events. So I'm going to click on team here. So you can click personal, and then you can also click team. Now these are all the events that matter when it comes to managing leads. So you can see on a daily basis, if you want, what are all the submitted leads. Okay, so here's all the submitted leads, and then you can come and you can set a calendar. I am frequently doing this. This is a very important thing. I look multiple times a day at all of the submitted leads in the company to understand where's the volume, which are the providers, where's the activity taking place. So that's submitted leads, right? And that's very important. You should be looking at that on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and your goal is to get that number up, right? You want a lot of volume there. That's where things sort of start. Then I come over and I start looking at appointments. And appointments are really important, right? Because not only did you make money on all of these, this is money you're making from your team, this is money you're making from your personal, but again, this tells you who do you need to follow up with. Who on your team has had appointments? If I come over here and I look at my entire team and I see that there's been 20, 30, 50, 100, 10, 5, whatever it is, appointments that have taken place in the last week or in the last month or in the last day or whatever it is, I want to know as a team leader what's going on with all of those people. So I'm going to reach out and I'm going to ask the advisor who submitted them. So you can come here and you can see who the lead is, right? And then you can see who's the owner of that lead. And you can see the phone number and the this and then that. And you've got all of the sort of information of that lead. You can see any of the notes that were communicated on that lead. You can see who are the providers that the lead was submitted to. You can see who are the new providers that the lead can be submitted to. So you have an enormous amount of data right at your fingertips through this events. And so I'm going to go to all of the people who submitted these leads, and I'm going to say, hey, what's going on with this lead? Can you give me an update? Did you reach out to them and see how'd their appointment go? What did they think? What are the questions that are still on their mind? What's the next step? I always want to know what is the next step. The next step is I need to review the proposal and talk to my accountant, or I need to review the proposal and my wife and I need to discuss it, or I need to, check and see if I can, get this interest rate, or there's always a next step, okay? It's your job to know what the next step is and figure out how to make the next step, happen. Okay, great. When's that going to happen? When are you going to have an answer? When's it? So I'm telling you right now, if you're not on top of the ball here, it just means that money's slipping through the cracks. And you know what? You guys can do whatever you want. It's your money. You can do whatever you want. But the people who are on top of the ball are the ones who are cashing installation checks. That's just the truth. Constantly, I'm talking to people all day long where the reason why the deals are happening or happen is because the advisor, the professional advisor who submitted the lead, pretty much just played great customer service afterwards. They just followed up to see how the service was. Any more questions I can answer for you? What did you think about the appointment? Oh, you loved it. That's amazing. Are you going to go solar? When are you going to find the contract? Anything else I can do to help you sign that contract? Just plain great customer service gets deals over the finish line. If they didn't like the sales consultant or they didn't like the provider or whatever it is, you know what? You should get a second proposal. I actually have another company I'd love to introduce you to. It's just smart to do anyway. Boom. Now you've got another appointment in the books. You've got them moving forward again if they didn't like the first one. Guys and gals, that's just how the professionals do it. And so I'm going to encourage you to really become friendly with this lead events section in your back office, almost on a daily basis. Even if you're just starting and you don't have volume in your lead events, I want you to come back here and check it anyway, because I want you visualizing what's going to happen when you have hundreds of appointments, of contracts, of leads submitted, of installs, of all of these things that are flowing through your back office and your events every single month. I want you to check this darn thing until that is a reality. And I promise you, if you're not checking it and you're not focused on it, it won't be a reality. Focus on it. Keep it at the forefront of your focus every single day. Like all of the top leaders in this company, nothing slips through our cracks. Nothing slips through our vision. And that's how you should be as well. You should be monitoring, tracking, and on top of everything, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your installations, and it's your impact. It is ungodly the amount of impact that every single one of these installs has. I mean, I've walked probably 10 people through proposals this month alone, and I've seen anywhere from up to 10,000 trees. The equivalent of one home going solar is 10,000 trees growing for 10 years. That's like a freaking forest, for God's sakes. I mean, imagine 10,000 trees, and that's one home going solar, or 3,000 trees, or 5,000 trees. I've seen solar projects, one home that avoids over 100 tons of waste sent to a landfill. Imagine 100 dump trucks, one after the other, just dumping garbage into our freaking, rivers and forests and lands. One solar system avoids 100 tons of waste that would go to a landfill. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where it lives and breathes and dies, is right here in lead events, and all of us being on top of it and choosing to be professionals, choosing to monitor each appointment, choosing to be a great customer service, choosing to be a great advisor, choosing to be a great advocate, choosing our clients and our customers to say to us, you know what, at the end of the day, this was such a pleasurable experience. You were there with me 100% of the time. You were always trying to help. You were always trying to follow up with me and see what my next step was, and you had my best interests at heart, and you connected me to all these great companies, and you looked out for me. You told me if you thought, a bad deal or this was a bad deal or this was a good deal. And that's another thing I've learned, guys, is, over the last couple of weeks, I've been telling a lot of people, look, I'll be the first one to tell you to go with another company. If you show me a proposal that's better than I can get to you, I'll tell you to go with them. And I've found that just deflates the almost like it deflates the tension right away, where people, and I mean it, if somebody comes to me and shows me a better proposal, I'm either going to try to get them a better proposal, and if we can't beat it, which is rare because of all the providers we have, I'll tell them to go with the other company. And I mean that. I'm sincere when I say that. Absolutely 100% sincere. I'm not trying to sell them something that's not the best choice for them. And if they can find a better choice, I will tell them you should sign with that company right now. And when I tell a client that, when I tell a customer that, they go, no kidding. Well, I appreciate that. And in one fell swoop, their guard is down, and they know that I've got their interests at heart. I hope that some of this stuff is valuable to you guys, and you can use these tools and use these little nuggets as you move forward and you talk to homeowners every day. Was any of this valuable? Did you guys get value out of this little section here in this little rant? Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Always trying to deliver value. It is entirely about that. It's 100% about us all being just massively core competent, like just the most competent professionals in this industry. I mean, imagine one day when people hear your name and they realize, oh wow, you're with Powur. You know, I've heard about you guys. You really are the best, aren't you? That's my vision, to where, you know, every experience that people have with us is just as professional as we can make it. And we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there who are just the best of the best, educating homeowners, leading from a service-based mindset. If I can't serve you, I'm going to point you in the direction of somebody who can better. That type of mindset. It's not about me. It's about you literally taking control of your energy costs, truly understanding the difference between being your own utility and producing your own power and doing it much more affordably than continuing to pay a monopoly forever. And if I can't help you do that the best, I'm going to point you in the direction of the company that can, because this is the future. You need to know about it. You need to be a part of it, and it's going to benefit your family. It's that attitude, that mindset. I'm telling you guys, that's going to take us to the top. Take us to the top. All right. Moving on, wonderful people. So, who's ready to hear where we might be going next? Where are all the bets? Where are all the bets? I want to hear the bets. Where are we going next? Whoever can guess the most markets that we're about to announce of where we're going next wins. All right, you guys ready for this? We have been fairly busy. You know, in addition to onboarding, you know, all of the 50 plus providers we already have, and the rolling out of the provider portal, and all of this stuff that's been happening behind the scenes, and all the events that we're about to announce, there's also been a litany of new partnerships that we have signed and are getting ready to onboard. So without further ado, we are now open and announcing zero cost solar in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I believe a lot of other places in Nevada and Florida. And I want to hit this one on the head first, guys, because, you know, here's what you need to know about zero cost solar. First of all, they have been one of the top 20 providers on the platform. We have a metric, we have a milestone that we use, guys, where we, of course, we measure everything, okay? So we measure how many leads did we submit to a provider, and how much money did we make from the leads that we submitted to them. It's very simple. If you divide how much money you made by how many leads you submitted them, you get a dollar per lead. And essentially, we have a green score and a red score. If providers have a red score, it means that we made less than $60 on each lead we sent them. That's for the lead, you know, all in after you factor in appointments and installs and everything else. If they have a green score, it means we made over $60, which we found to be, you know, where things start to be profitable. Some providers on this platform, you know, make people hundreds of dollars every time they submit a lead. Baker Electric Solar is one of those. Consistently, hundreds of dollars. There's almost 10 providers that are over $100 per lead on the platform right now. So those are the providers you want to submit your leads to, right? And we're thinking about, you know, in the future, it's just we don't have unlimited time, but know this is in our pipeline. Ultimately, we want to make all of this like a publicly available algorithm, so everybody can see what is the score next to every provider. And then providers are going to know, oh crap, I better work really hard to get my score up, because the whole world can see what my score is, and they can't BS it. We've got the numbers, we've got the data, we know exactly what they're doing. So that's something really cool that we anticipate being in a future release, as well as a provider score. However, zero cost solar, in addition to just actually getting installs done in a pretty high amount of them, they are very affluent in Spanish. They are a Spanish speaking team. Their native language is Spanish. So we have a huge growing Spanish population in this company. In Florida, in Puerto Rico, in Nevada, you know, in Vegas, there's a lot. In California, there's a lot of native Spanish-speaking clients and native Spanish-speaking advisors. You know, we're really blending tons of cultures, and that's always been our vision, and we're just starting. because we want to expand all over the world over the next decade. But I'm really excited that Zero Cost Solar has opened up Vegas and opened up Florida, because I think that this could be a really great fit. Having when we have native Spanish clients, working with a native Spanish solar company, I don't know, but you guys tell me, does that make sense to you? I think it makes sense. So as of today, Zero Cost Solar is live in Vegas and live in Florida. And of course, it's not just Spanish speaking. Everyone on the team at Zero Cost is highly fluent in English, and we've closed a lot of deals with them all over the country. We've closed deals in Colorado and Maryland and California and all over the place. So first and foremost, Zero Cost is now live in Florida and live in Vegas. Next, we are announcing a new partnership with Solarize, who covers the great state of Nevada. This is a company that managed to hang on through the turbulent times of the Nevada solar industry. And last month, after the Nevada Public Utility Commission reinstated net metering and basically came up with a total no-brainer grandfathered program for everyone to go solar, all of the largest solar companies have rushed back into Nevada. Sunrun, Solar City, Tesla Energy, Vivint, and tons of regional players. This, guys, is going to be a monster stinking market. Billions and billions of dollars of solar are going to be sold. It was one of our top markets before the December 2015 decision came down. And now that decision's been reversed and it is fully back on, I have no doubt that Nevada is going to become one of the top markets in this company. I think it's going to be top 5 within a short period of time. All of us should be asking, who do you know in Nevada? And as of today, we already have multiple providers on the platform. Solarize is going live tonight. So Solarize will be live tonight. Zero Cost Solar is live right now. You might see 1 or 2 more announcements over the next couple weeks opening up Nevada. Sunworks is still covering Reno. Solarize is moving into Reno shortly, but right now Solarize and Zero Cost are focused on the Vegas and all of the greater surrounding area, so basically the major population in Nevada, and then Reno is Sunworks. So we more or less have coverage across Nevada, and there's even some good updates coming with Sunworks and Reno. Linda and the whole team there, I'll share that with you shortly. So let's keep this train moving. A brand new state for Powur that we've never been in. We are announcing Price Solar and Electric, who is live in Wyoming, the great state of Wyoming, which Sunrun recently went into Wyoming. So when Sunrun goes into a market, that means that there's probably some exciting potential in that market. So I know this might not be exciting to everybody, but we have quite a few people. Mr. Chuck, I know you're very happy right now, Chuck Freimeyer, and several others. And hey, guys, this is the time when you ask, who do you know in Wyoming? You've got a friend, a distant cousin, a relative, an ex-business partner, whoever. Well, guess what? We just announced solar in their state. So this is the time to go generate new business and talk to people and say, guess what? Solar's coming to Wyoming. This is going to be, a multi, I think there's 500,000 homes or something like that in Wyoming. So it's not a colossal market, but 500,000 homes is a lot of money. That's probably a couple $1 billion of solar. So who wants to override a couple $1 billion of solar? Wyoming is in the books. A lot of people have been asking for upstate New York for a while, and we finally found the right partnership up there. So we are excited to announce Halco Solar, who is serving the Finger Lakes, Syracuse, Ithaca, Rochester. So we nailed our upstate New York partner. I know this is going to be great news. Peter Burke, you might be excited about this. There's a lot of Powur advisors who I know were submitting leads to Sungevity in the past and whatnot. And I'm excited to get everybody a regional player for the upstate New York market. Thank you to everybody who made this happen. Again, who do you know in upstate New York? Who wants to override all the solar installations in Syracuse, Ithaca, Rochester, Finger Lakes? Time to have those conversations, ladies and gentlemen. We are announcing All Energy Solar. This one has been months in the making. With a special shout out to Mr. Chuck Hansen. Chuck was very diligent on doing the early legwork with All Energy Solar because he wanted to open these new markets. So we are going into 2 brand new markets. We are now entering into Iowa and Wisconsin. So for the first time, Powur is going to be offering solar service in Iowa and Wisconsin. And All Energy covers Massachusetts and another option in Minnesota. So who do you know in Iowa, Massachusetts, Minnesota, or Wisconsin? Plug in some zip codes. We'll announce when they go live. These guys are not going to be live tonight. All of the other ones are live on the platform by the end of tonight. And All Energy will be going live within the next week. So we're still finishing up the onboarding process for them. But it's time to start asking, who do you know? Iowa, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Wisconsin. And then announcing Third Sun Solar, who is servicing Ohio, Indiana, and Pittsburgh. And I got to tell you, these guys are the real deal. They have been doing solar in Ohio and solar in Indiana and Pittsburgh for the last 25 years. I don't know how anyone was doing solar 25 years ago. I mean, it blows my mind how spoiled we are. But these are real pioneers. These are real solar legends and legacy companies and people who know this industry, who love this industry, who have dedicated their life to this industry and being pioneers of this industry. And it's really exciting for us to be partnered with Third Sun Solar. I want to note, one of the things you guys are going to see coming up at convention or at our Orlando Regional is that we're getting ready to introduce more tiers to our compensation plan. We've come to realize that 3 tiers does not account for global solar economics. So as we begin to move into markets like Alberta and Canada and even Ohio, it is shocking how low Third Sun Solar is selling solar for in Ohio to really be able to make it a competitive value proposition for a homeowner. And so we're introducing Tier 4, Tier 5, and Tier 6 into our compensation plan. This is something you guys are going to see at the upcoming regional, which again is allowing us to expand into markets where typically we probably would not have been able to expand into otherwise, and create a universal compensation plan that works with what the economics are in each market, and how to develop a great business model for our partners in each market and a great business model for our advisors. To that point, and I don't want to go off on too long of a tangent, but one of the other things that you're probably going to see from us, and I really want to encourage you, and I want to encourage all of the leaders in Powur. What we're learning, guys, is that there are so many regional nuances to selling solar and getting solar customers. I want to really encourage all of you to become experts in the regions that you're doing business. Really take it upon yourself to understand what's solar like in my region. What is the value proposition? What is the economics of my region? Who are the best customers in my region? How do you sell solar in my region? Because it really is different in each region. What are the incentives in my region? Every region's different. And what we're finding and what we're wanting to move towards in the future is a regional sales and training model, to where we want to start getting really good at training regionally. How do you sell solar in Ohio, Indiana, and Pittsburgh? It's different than how you sell solar in California. So this is where we want to go as a team, but this is where you need to go as the field leadership team. Remember, corporate's job is to pay commissions and have an amazing product and have everything work. Your job as a professional advisor is to generate sales, build your team, recruit, and train. Those are the relationships that always work best. Those are the billion-dollar companies. The field always is responsible for recruiting, sales, and training, and corporate's responsible for a vision, a product that is the best in the industry, and execution of software and technologies and infrastructure to be able to pay you on the sales, recruiting, and training. When those two things are working at their best and both parties are working at their best, it is an amazing relationship and companies go to $1 billion. So I really want to encourage everyone who's listening on the call, become an expert in every region that you want to make a lot of money. Now, for a lot of leaders, that might be a lot of regions. I can tell you right now, I want to be an expert in every region. Trust me, I've got my eyes on the nuances of every single market out there. I don't want Powur to be in a single market that I don't fully understand. And, you know, I'd hope you would want that for me too. But if you're a leader who wants to override business in a lot of markets, you might want to adopt that philosophy. So, pause real quick. I'm going to go. I know I just announced like a ton of different markets, a lot of new things. Who's excited about where we are going next? Lauren. Yeah, Mr. Mark Mason. Third Sun Solar is in the house. So you are ready to rock. Fantastic for Pittsburgh. God bless America. You're right, Brittany. God bless America. Mark Dayton is in Syracuse and Ithaca. That's what I'm excited to hear, my friend. You are in the money zone now. Albany is already covered, Whitney. I believe Albany is covered in a couple other markets, but a couple other providers. Plug those zip codes in there. All right. Yay. Woohoo! Wyoming's on the map. A fox setting up shop in the hen house. Carol, you cracked me up. Okay. Did anyone guess Wyoming? I'm going to come back here. Teresa was guessing Arkansas. Oh, Brittany, you cheated. You cheated. There was a couple. Alaska. Kimberly was going Alaska. She was way off, but I love you anyway. All right, guys. My spirit told you Wyoming. You cracked me up. We're in the tail end here. So, everybody, go to powurevents.com right now, baby. I am super excited to announce a new platform. This is a whole sort of event presentation page platform that we built. Moving forward, we can kind of customize all of this content and everything we're doing for every event that's a big major regional conference or national event that Powur has. You guys have been asking for it for a while. How do I know what's going to be at this event? You know, what's going on, this, that. I hear some hemming and hawing sometimes. Honestly, I don't get it, but that's because I'm really biased, right? I know what's going to happen at the event. But sometimes people don't understand, why is this event going to change my life? What happens at Powur events? So we are excited to announce, with 16 days left for Orlando Regional, powurevents.com is live. So I want every single one of you, if you have not booked your ticket yet and there's any way you can get to our regional Orlando event, go to powurevents.com, read everything, watch the videos, see what people have to say about coming to our events, because it just, you can't argue with the testimonials and the tone in people's voices and the energy that they feel. Guys, we change people's lives. That's what we do. We wake them up. We educate them. We transform their consciousness. We get them aligned with a higher purpose, with a higher vision, so that we can be a part of something that's bigger than any one individual. And when you feel that energy, and when it seeps into your DNA, and when it starts to activate you, you change. Your mindset changes, your consciousness changes, the decisions you make change. That's what we do at our events. It's a very difficult thing to explain. It's a difficult thing to put tangibly into your hands, but it is freaking real, and it rocks you to your core, and it changes lives, and it's a part of why we have a massive active advisor ratio, which really shocks me how many people are active in this company. It's way more than most direct sales companies. There's huge, fall off ratios, but we have over 50% of every advisor that has ever signed up through multiple transitions of our business model is still active, which is just amazing to me. Usually it's like 10, 20%. Best companies are like 30%. So in any case, part of the reason why is because of our events. It's because of everything I just shared with you. It's because who you become by interacting with our company. So A, I want you to go and read this page, and if you haven't made the commitment yet, make the commitment to be with us in Orlando, and let's keep changing our lives and changing the darn world. We will not disappoint. Number two, you need to send this page to every person on your team and say, what's your excuse? You need to book your ticket right now, and you need to be there. There is no other place that's going to change your life, impact your life more on July 29th than being in Orlando. And then send this to every person you know, anyone who's within a driving distance, anyone who's with, hey, can you meet me here last minute? There's 16 days. This is the time to take a look at our company. We just opened 5 more markets. We just opened Vegas. We're changing the game every day. We just rolled out this insane new platform for solar providers to use across the world. Come to this event. Be a part of what we're doing. Take a hard look at what we're doing and get on board. Join my team. Come change the game with us. Change your life at the same time. Every single one of us should set a goal within the next 24 hours. How many people did you send this link out to? Your goal as a leader in this company needs to be who is on your team and with you at this event. And if for some reason you can't be there, how many people did you have attend anyway? How many of your teammates, how many of your prospects were in the room? Because I'm telling you, that's how you measure winning. That's how you measure your success. That's how you measure your business is growing and that you've got something real and tangible. So go measure it and get people in the room. And yes, I wish I could yell like this all the time. You guys pump me up. My God, I am totally out of energy. It is taking a lot. One of the things I didn't share with you guys, because you'll make fun of me, but I'm from California, and one of the things that we do in California, talk to any, if you go to a dinner party in California, I kid you not, maybe not all over California, but certainly in my circle of friends, at least 1 out of 3 people are all on a cleanse. I swear to God. Somebody's not eating dinner because it does not work with their current cleanse, and they can't eat this or they can't eat. Well, I'm that 1 out of 3 people right now. So I didn't even tell the Bobby and everybody this. They're going to make fun of me. But it's also going to explain why I've been a psycho this week. I'm on a candida cleanse right now, so I'm barely eating food. I'm taking these supplements, which is like detoxing my whole system, and it's not super pleasant, but I'm hoping that my gut comes out the other side better. If some of you guys saw my Facebook video, albeit that was probably too vulnerable of a share, about my doctor visit, you might understand why I'm doing this cleanse. Let's just say my wife was right. I'm not going to publicly admit that on Facebook just yet, but my wife was totally right. The cream didn't help, so I'm on to the cleanse. In any case, I've digressed, and I should. It was probably a bad digression. But I'm out of energy here. If it wasn't for you guys, I probably would not have even been able to make it through this 60 minutes. I'm sure you're out of energy just having to listen to me for 60 minutes. So let's wrap this up. In addition to all of the amazing things that I just shared with you guys, we are getting ready to unleash a whole suite of really cool tours across the country leading up to the Orlando regional event. And of course, after the event, I'm really excited to see the regional leadership continue to flourish in this company. Regional. You're going to hear that as a mantra from me over and over and over again. Regional, regional, regional. Who is stepping up and becoming the leader in their region? Who's understanding solar in their region? Who's training their region? Who's recruiting in their region? Regional leadership. It is the future of this business, I can promise you. So, on Saturday, July 22nd, we have a Solar Wealth Mastery Workshop that is taking place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sun Pro offices in Dallas. This is all on powercalendar.com. So everybody you know in Dallas, the one and only Charles Thompson is flying in, and we are going to start leading Solar Wealth Mastery workshops all over the country. And this is for guests, it's for advisors, it's for everybody. We're just going to train you. We're going to teach you everything you need to know to be a competent professional about solar energy, and probably even for that region as we start getting more localized with this, so you can go leave that event, talk to homeowners, submit leads, and make money. Then that very same day, we have a social that night. So we have a Solar Wealth Mastery and then a social at a private residence in Dallas. So check the calendar. On Monday, the 24th, we are launching our first meeting with our partner up in Washington, Solterra. You guys have probably heard the buzz. Washington just passed some amazing new incentives. This is going to be a killer market. It's ridiculous what the value proposition is for homeowners to go solar in Washington. So we're excited. We have a meeting taking place at Solterra's office. You're going to come meet the provider, and then at night we have another social from 7 to 9. Dan Haar and Melissa Dawson and the regional leaders, Warren Raven up in Washington, are all over it. Get connected to these guys. Get the people you know. Start promoting now. Then we move on to the 25th in San Antonio, meeting with the manufacturer. So come meet the manufacturer of the solar panels that IES uses. And there's some really cool discounts. We're giving incentives so that there's a $1,000 discount. Any client, any homeowner that you bring to this event, we're going to offer a $1,000 discount if they eventually go solar and choose to get a proposal at the event. And there's a $500 gift card for advisors as a referral, so they can actually sign up. Let's say a homeowner goes solar, they can get $500 to go become an advisor with Powur. So some really cool incentives. Talk to your team leaders about that. Then a social that night in San Antonio. Then Charles is making his way down to Louisiana. So all of our peeps, anybody you know in Louisiana, we're going to do a provider meeting at the corporate headquarters with SunPro. And then I'm excited to announce our first meeting in Alberta. For all our Canada advisors on the line tonight and everybody who's doing stuff in Alberta, we are hosting our first meeting with New Energy at their corporate headquarters July 27th, and there is a social to follow. So tell homeowners, tell people, tell whoever, and let's pack the house. But this would not be complete without one of the most important events that we all need to start promoting for over the next 2 weeks, which is the night before, July 28th, in Orlando. We are hosting a Disrupt Social at the Hilton. So at the event at the hotel that the event is taking place at, all of our corporate team is going to be there. Myself, Jim Bunch, Bobby Smith, Andrea, Vanessa, the whole corporate team, so many of the top leaders. This is an amazing opportunity to get every single person you know in Florida in front of our company. And of course, we're going to have an incentive if they sign up as an advisor that night to come to the event the next day. And there's no better way to launch a new partner, to get them knowledgeable about our culture, invested in our vision, expand their thinking, than to come meet us all in person and join our regional convention the next day. This is a tremendous opportunity. Everybody needs to be promoting. Who do you know in Florida on the 28th? So without further ado, my friends, we all should be busy for the next 2 weeks. The Summer of Powur is wrapping up on July 31st, so you still have time to win and get your appointments in, get your personally enrolled advisors in. Between all the new markets, between all the new announcements, between all the events that are taking place, all of us have a shot at being champions, being great, winning a spot in the Summer of Powur. So guys, thank you so much. Keep your foot on the electric pedal. I am now going to go pass out and eat some dinner. You're probably going to pass out from having to listen to me for the last hour. But in closing, I just want to say that I love you all immensely. I'm honored to be on this journey with you. I'm inspired every day by what we're creating. As Charles and all the team says, the best is ahead. That is most definitely, because y'all can't even imagine what's coming next. Talk to you soon.